We are Local News Radio, WRWH and W230CT Cleveland. 6 o'clock from WRWH, and good evening. It's time for another candidate forum live on the radio this evening. And we appreciate you joining in with us for the evening. White County Chamber of Commerce, working in cooperation with the White County News and Local News Radio, presenting candidate forums, the second of the forums to be held. And Kayla Ellis with the White County Chamber of Commerce, going to let her do a little welcome for you, and then we'll get started.
I'm Kayla Ellis with the White County Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for joining us for this year's Candidates Forums as we dive into business-centric discussions with candidates vying for White County Commission Chair and White County Sheriff. Today's questions were submitted by local business leaders about issues that relate to how they do business. The Chamber, in partnership with the White County News and WRWH, is so excited to bring you this forum, so let's get this discussion started.
All right, Kayla, thank you very much. Okay, first of all, we will have our candidate forum. Tonight we have two candidate forums, actually, with the first being White County Commission Chairman candidates and then the White County Sheriff candidates. We're coming up a little bit later on. First, we'll go with our candidates for White County Commission Chair, and they have already been provided information about the rules and such, but I'll go over those for you and let you know. All candidates will have an opportunity to introduce themselves, up to 2 minutes each, and questions will be directed to each of the candidates, not to any specific candidate. And each candidate will be given 2 minutes to answer each question, up to that. And we have timer. Kayla will be doing the timing for you back here, and she has her nice fancy timing light. The red, yellow, and green lights will give you indication how much time you have left and for you to answer the questions. And of course, same question asked for each candidate by myself and Samantha Sinclair, who's with the White County News, joining us here for this evening. And at the end, each candidate will be given 2 minutes to make a summation or closing comments before we conclude the program. All right. I think that's it. Any questions of the candidates? Everything looks good. All right. Let's get started on that. And tell you what, I'll start off with the first question. We failed to do this yesterday, did not kind of flip the coin or draw straws or whatever, who would go answer or start off with the opening comments. But Travis, if you don't mind, I'll let you start off with the opening comments for today. All right.
Thank you, Dean, Samantha, Kayla, for allowing us to be here this evening. Hello, everyone out there in Radio Land and on Facebook Live. My name is Travis Turner. I am a lifelong resident of White County, and I have roots that go back over 200 years. My family was among some of the first settlers of this area, even before we were known as White County. So I hope you can see why I have such a vested interest in the future success of our county. My wife and I have been married nearly 31 years and have 2 grown children. We chose to raise our children in White County community because of the quality of life that I experienced growing up and wanted that same opportunity for our children. We are very actively involved in our local church, the Cleveland Worship Center, where we both have served in numerous capacities over the years. Over my career, I have served in leadership both in banking, run a business that had been in our family for 3 generations until we sold, and my wife and I are now involved in various business ventures in our county. When I originally ran in 2008, I stated then that the White County was going to grow, and sure enough, it has. I believe that we have just seen the beginning of our growth, and that growth is heading our way. My background is I was educated in our wonderful White County school system, graduated Truett McConnell University with an associate's degree in business management. Then I was able to obtain my bachelor's degree in finance from the University of North Georgia. Over the years, I have taken numerous continuing education courses in business, but also in emergency management. I have had the awesome privilege to serve on various state boards, some of which being the Georgia Environmental Finance Authority, which I have served as chairman in the past. For those that may not know, GEFA makes loans to municipalities for water and sewer needs. I've also served on the Governor's Workforce Development Board as well as the Governor's appointee to forestry licenses.
All right, Travis, thank you. And I might mention, I did fail to mention as we started out, identifying our candidates here, just in case someone out there not familiar with who the candidates are. We hope they are already by this time. But candidates, Travis Turner, the incumbent, and Chris Dorsey, challenger for the seat in this election coming up. All right, Chris, give you your opportunity for your opening comments.
First off, I want to thank our creator for this beautiful North Georgia day and gathering us here together to be able to put this information out. Secondly, WRWH, the Chamber of Commerce here in White County and White County News, thank you for putting all this together. And I also want to thank my opponent, Travis. Thanks for, competition is honing everybody, and I appreciate it. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Chris Dorsey. Grew up everywhere from over on New Bridge Road with the Dorseys and the Hulseys, all the way over through Lumpkin County, Ranger Camp, Camp Walsiga Road. My great aunt and uncle were William and Ribby Ash that built the Daisy Burger where the Corner Grill is now. And I was, raised by some old timers. Henry Turner was my hero. He was my great uncle. So Travis and I share some of the same roots here in this community. After high school, I joined the Army to where I ended up in Iraq on a task force, called Task Force 20, a multinational special operations task force in charge of a large area of operation over there. After the Army, I came back and got in the poultry industry where shortly in my career there, I jumped to operations manager. I was running several plants in the Athens area, both poultry processing and food packaging. At one point, I had, I think it was 423 employees I had to manage, so that was challenging in itself. I came back to the area here in 2018. I was working for the Institute of Human Development and Disability with UGA. We were doing a lot of things with agritherapy. I have a nonprofit. We're kind of inactive right this second. We do some things on a low key where we take veterans and use agriculture as a therapy to help PTSD and traumatic brain injury.
Okay, and we're going to get into our question and answer session time right now. And I'll start off with the first question, and this will be, we'll start with Chris, and we'll go back and forth to each of the candidates starting out. To both of you, of course, what are the duties of a county commission chairman? In your mind, what are the duties of a county commission chairman?
Well, first off, our duties are public servants. And we have to really go to those roots. Is what does that mean? It means that we are servants to the citizens of this county. Being the chairman, there's a little extra responsibility because now you have to manage the other chairmen. Make sure that their districts are getting heard, make sure that any issues they face, you're there to support them. It is a very demanding job to manage the heads of districts. I'm sure there's a lot of headbutting. There's a lot of different things, no different than any other industry. But I look forward to those challenges, and I appreciate everybody out there voting for me.
All right. And Travis, we'll turn to you for your comments on that, or your answer.
Well, just to reiterate, the commission chairman serves at the privilege of all of the voters of White County. The commission chairman is elected at large, whereas your district commissioners are voted, they have to live in the district and are voted on in that specific district. As commission chairman, you have additional duties. Number one, you oversee the actual called meetings, regular meetings, and work sessions, as well as have a very important role in partaking in putting the agenda together to represent the needs of the community, as well as working with our constitutional officers, of which we have a phenomenal group of constitutional officers in White County. I would be willing to put them up against anyone throughout the state of Georgia, as well as working with our department managers and our county manager. White County has a full-time county manager position that works at the pleasure of the Board of Commissioners. and oversees the daily operations. The chair is to see policies and procedures that are in the best interest of the entire community, and hopefully work with the district commissioners as well as the county manager to implement those at the local level.
Okay, thank you. All right, move on. Next question, and Samantha will ask that, and Travis that will go to you.
Okay. Travis, what do you see as the biggest issue or issues facing White County?
Growth. As I alluded to in the beginning of my comments, in 2008, when I originally ran, that growth was coming our way, and boy, has it. The growth has created challenges, let's just be real, but also opportunities. We have to ask ourselves, where do we want to see our growth go? Let's be real. From Cleveland east and west and southward, that historically has been our agricultural areas, whereas what we are seeing develop is north of Cleveland towards Helen in particular, and District 4 and northern part of District 3, those are becoming more tourism, your cabins and what have you, because Helen is now recognized as the third most visited tourist destination in the state of Georgia, behind Atlanta and Savannah. So ladies and gentlemen, if you don't realize, during the pandemic, the world found Helen, Georgia, in particular, White County. So we have to find a way to continue to maintain our quality of life that has kept those of us here, or if you've moved here, there's a reason why it brought us here. That's for our love of our community. But also, if you're not growing, you're dying. And I feel like that our land use plan that was enacted 2015 and 16 gives us opportunities to guide that growth on where appropriate items should be in that particular community.
All right, thank you, Travis. All right, Chris, now your answer to that particular question.
Could you repeat that question again?
Yeah.
What do you see as the biggest issue or issues facing White County?
I have to agree with Travis. Growth is probably the biggest issue, and how we manage that growth is essential. We have to balance our community. We have a lot of retirees here. There's a reason for that. It's a great place to be. But what was it, 8 years ago? They came up with a plan to 4-lane 129 from Gainesville to Walmart here. So growth is coming. Our infrastructure is, very behind. We definitely need to focus on that. There's a lot of grants out there we can go for different things. Wastewater treatment was a topic last night. They said we're 20 years for a permit. Well, we should have thought about that 20 years ago, because we can get those different developments, those higher density things, once we get on a sewage plan. And low income housing is not home ownership. Low income housing is some kind of higher density. Is it townhomes? Is it some kind of apartments? Whatever that is, it's meant for people that are building a family. They have a place to land. Here in our county, that affordable housing used to be mobile home communities, and those are phasing out for a random number of reasons. So I think that we need to look at our infrastructure, and I sat here for 3 years going to these meetings and heard the plan for 2030. We built our tax building, we built our gym. Well, we need to plan our infrastructure for just like that. Same standard operating procedure across the board.
All right, very good. All right, hold on. Since we're going through the questions, I'll do the next one here. And this is Chris, you'll start off on this. What is your vision of White County for maybe the next 10 to maybe even 20 years? What's your vision for the future of White County?
10, 20 years, that's, I missed a 4-year gap in the military and came back and didn't know where I was, because roads were paved that used to be dirt and everything else. So that's a long time. But again, we need to focus on our infrastructure and focus on what those things look like. Right now, our families, my son's not going to be able to have a family here and afford to live. So what are the things that we can do now that help our family, our kids, our grandkids out. And I keep going back. Those are the things that are going to bring different things, like different industries. Maybe while we're waiting on those permits, maybe we partner with a county to the south where all this growth is coming from on some different things, maybe some wastewater treatment, different options. That's what's going to get us to that 20-year mark and still be successful and not end up like a tourist ghost town. And none of us want that.
All right. Travis, we'll let you answer the question. You
Repeat it, please.
All right, repeat it. All right. What is your vision for White County for the next 10 to 20 years, maybe?
Well, I've already alluded to the fact that White County is going to continue to grow. We see Atlanta moving northward. And as we prepare for this growth, I'm proud to state that I've been a part of several infrastructure growth items. The first being the first letter I ever wrote was to Governor Perdue. At that time, we were about to lose the funding on the Appalachian Parkway or Cleveland Bypass. Made the suggestion of doing it in phases. We found favor, and now if you look in particular, the bypass or the Parkway, many said that it was going to dry up the city of Cleveland. Well, the city of Cleveland has become a vibrant downtown area, and it's growing. So the point I'm trying to make along the bypass, along with internet expansion, if you don't have internet, that is that's just an arrow in your quiver you've got to have for business growth and residential, because a lot of folks are working from home nowadays. The other item is something that doesn't get a lot of focus is the fact that we have natural gas that goes through major corridors in White County, and I'm glad to say that I've been a part of that. But where's the vision going? First of all, we do need to grow our sewer infrastructure. The first, and I've said this for the last few years, the best opportunity is to work with the cities of Cleveland or Helen that already provide sewage opportunities, because they have the permits and they are already able, the city of Cleveland in particular, to do some expansion. And I'd like to see the city of Cleveland expand their limits up to the Parkway so that we can have higher density. They can handle higher density housing, whereas in the county, in the rural area, you have to have 1 acre to perk a piece of property for your septic tank. So that would allow for more dense housing. But at the same time, we want to see the rural community stay the way it is. And I see my time is up.
All right. Hold on. All right, Samantha, I'll let you get the next question.
Okay. Travis, in 2022, the tourism industry in White County accounted for $20.9 million in state and local taxes and lowers each property owner's burden by $2,042. How do you propose to balance attracting visitors and the quality of life for the people who live here?
Well, if I've got my numbers in my head correctly, Samantha, I believe our SPLOST dollars in particular, I believe over 55 to 60% of our SPLOST dollars is paid for by out-of-towners, our tourists. So that is helping us with capital projects in the county that's not having to be funded from the general fund. But also a lot of folks may not realize, now that's the 7 cents that we pay when we buy goods at the stores and what have you, but the penny before that is a lost. That's a local option sales tax. Local option sales tax allows us the opportunity to use that in the general fund, whereas SPLOST you have to use for capital expenditures. LOST helps us to decrease the amount of taxes that are placed on the backs of our local residents and local businesses. To answer your question specifically, though, I believe because we have a land use plan, we need to continue. And if our board stays in the agricultural areas stay and where we want to see the tourism areas grow, I think that gives us an opportunity to guide that growth in the coming years.
Okay. Chris, let you answer that question. You want to repeat again? All right.
In 2022, the tourism industry in White County accounted for $20.9 million in state and local taxes.
Sorry about that.
And lowers each property owner's burden by $2,042. How do you propose to balance attracting visitors and the quality of life for the people who live here.
So I will commend the commission board for, finally sharing that SPLOS with the city of Cleveland and the city of Helen. Our cities are our heartbeats, and as a county commissioner, we have to support that. We're the arteries to get them there, so we have to keep those arteries clean. I think we really need to look at some definitions in our all our local option sales taxes, because when they were created in 1981, definitions have changed. We've really taken a lot of the tourism out of our city centers, which is still there. Not saying it's not a major hub, but we moved them into our county areas, and we've taken the burden of that on our county roads and our county infrastructure. So when definitions change, it's up to our county leaders to be our first line of defense for our citizens in government overreach. So we really need to start stepping up in that role instead of being part of the problem.
All right. Thank you for the answer there. Now, next question, Chris, I'll go to you. Starting off with, what are things that you maybe have planned or would like to plan rather, to attract new businesses and support existing ones that are here?
So we know that growth is coming, and that's on that, the 129 corridor. We're growing on all areas, but to attract businesses, we go back to that infrastructure thing. Right now, our cities are our heartbeats, really, for businesses. There are some things that we can do to work better. Working in the special operations world, communication is the key. It's our lifeblood. It's what saves us. And that's not just communications back to our command. That's communications with those locals on the ground, what they're seeing, how they're operating, what problems they face, how can we help those problems, how can we unite them to be a better community. That overlays here in the United States as well. So we get out there and we work with the cities. How can we, use Freedom Park as a better access to bringing business, bringing people to the city of Cleveland. We have some really great small town businesses, and big box stores and corporations have their places, but they don't have their place coming in to our community and taking away from the Berry IGA Foods, the smaller places, the Clydes, all the places that we enjoy and we love, and that everybody comes here for. Everybody comes here for that small town feel. We need to protect that, but we also need to bring more businesses in. I would love to see the patrons of Clyde have to walk around the square and enjoy more shops open. So I think there's some really good ways, and there's some oversight the county can give the cities to really push some business in our community.
All right, thanks. All right, Travis, repeat that. What are things that you plan to do or would like to do to attract new businesses and support the ones that are here now?
Well, Dean, part of this I've kind of already touched on is the fact that we have got to see you're not going to have businesses come to our area for the most part unless you are able to provide sewer. And a natural corridor, even though it has limited access on the Appalachian Parkway, there are opportunities if we could partner with the city of Cleveland. And I'm pleased to say that over the last, I'm going to say 6 to 8 years, I have thankfully been able to be a part of much better communication with the city of Cleveland. And historically, we've always had very good communication with the city of Helen. But if we can partner with the city of Cleveland, and the city of Cleveland currently has a policy that they will not add someone onto sewer unless they are annexed into the city of Cleveland. And I understand that, and I respect that is their desire. So I'd like to find a way that we could work together with the city of Cleveland, and if they choose to expand their footprint out to the Appalachian Parkway, I think, number one, that would improve the opportunities for businesses to align on the 4-lane, but also entice the residential development. And I know we've talked about probably that a couple of times already, and I go back to the fact is, we can have these businesses, but unless we have housing, and in White County, because we do not have sewer, The White Cane Water Authority was created in 1986 as the White Cane Water and Sewer Authority, but it historically has always focused on water. Because of the sheer cost and since then, and being able to serve on the GFA board, we are seeing counties and communities come back asking for increases to their loans because of inflation. It makes so much more sense to partner with the city of Cleveland or perhaps the city of Helen in some fashion. And I think I just turned red, so I'm going to be respectful to that.
All right, thank you. All right, Chris, you do have a few seconds that you can finish up your comments there, of course. All right, next, and Travis, this will start with you. Samantha has another question here for you.
What is the main point you would want me as a voter to know about you?
Samantha, my love for this community is very deep. This community has been extremely kind to my family for generations, and I am honored to have served as commission chairman since taking office in January 2009. I feel strongly that I have represented the voters very well during this time. To be able to manage several topics that are not always easy. I've always been thankful and blessed to find a way to bring parties together and find a common ground. I'm not an extremist, but then I'm not a pacifist either. So I feel like there's common ground. Sometimes you got to give and take, and so I feel like I have a strong track record, and I feel like I have I have a history in the past, but with an eye for the future, and I'd appreciate your vote in this year's election.
All right, thank you. And Chris, you want to repeat? All right.
What is the main point you would want me as a voter to know about you?
I think the main thing is I'm not a career politician. I don't plan on being a career politician. My philosophy is like the old saying, politicians and babies' diapers need to be changed regularly for the same reasons. That's one of the things I'd like to do is bring back term limits because it's human nature. Power goes to everybody's head, and it skews everybody. So if we have some term limits, we can start quelling some of these issues that are popping up throughout the community on favoritism and different things. If we set policies, everybody should have to abide by those policies, not just who your friends are or how much money you got or anything else. So that's who I am. I was willing to volunteer to go fight for this country and give my life for it. It means a lot to me, and it would mean a lot to me to continue that service to this community. So get out there and vote on May 21st.
All right. Thank you. Next question, Chris, we'll start with you. But how will you, as Commission Chairman, work with entities throughout Northeast Georgia, the Northeast Georgia region, and the state of Georgia? How will you work with them and your plan to do that?
That's just you have to. You can't be a individual in the sea here. Teamwork is key on everything. There's a lot of great organizations that I think that we could partner with to do different things, grant writing, different industries we could partner with to look to bring into our county. That was one of my things in Iraq. If you wanted to unite some people, you put me in a room with them. We're going to find some common ground. Usually that common ground's over food. So I'm a farmer. We grow our own food. We grow some unique breeds, and they taste great. So, let's all sit down. Let's have some meals, and let's break bread together, and let's get the job done and form the best team possible for White County.
All right. Thank you. And Travis, I'll repeat that. How will you, as Commission Chair, work with entities throughout Northeast Georgia region and the state of Georgia?
Dean, I believe I have a very strong track record of doing that already. Over the years, you find common ground, being able to serve at the state level in various capacities over the years, and working with other county leaders, whether that be through GFA or whether that be through the ACCG, which is the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia. Even though we may live in different parts of the state, many times we deal with similar issues, and being able to work together is paramount. One thing, and I do agree, is that many times if you sit down and get folks in the room, even though we have different viewpoints, we can come together on a common ground, and let's go forward with that common ground. And I feel like in my tenure that I've had the opportunity, and I think I've got a strong proven track record, and using some common sense and level-headedness to work together with those in our surrounding area. We have tremendous relationships, and I'm proud to be a part of our surrounding counties. I look at Lumpkin, Union, Towns. I'll just name a few off the top of my head. The chairman from each county, we try to get together on a periodic basis and compare different issues that each of our communities are dealing with. And it's amazing that I'm able to glean information from them and bring back to us that somebody's already dealt with, that we don't have to create the wheel, or vice versa. We've been leaders in certain areas that we've been able to share that information with our adjacent counties, and we're on the same team. And I'm proud to say that each of those leaders are friends of mine, and we have a personal relationship, and that'll be good. I see the red light.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Samantha, next question.
Okay, I think some of this you guys mentioned inside your intros, but it's been said that county government should be operated as a business. Have you ever owned or operated a business yourself? Please explain.
I'm first, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The answer, yes, ma'am, I have. As I referenced, been able to be in leadership positions and have anywhere from 20 to 30 individuals reporting to me on a business level, not only in banking, but also being the president CEO of a local business, creating payroll, having to deal with workman's comp, and in particular those business owners that are listening to this call. We at the lumberyard, we were in the assigned risk pool, and that's the highest that you can, the highest premium you're going to pay, because we were a sawmill. And being able to make ends meet, to make sure that our employees got paid on a weekly basis, especially during the time of the recession, it was challenging. We had to make hard decisions, and there were some things we had to do without, so that we could continue the business moving forward. So I've been there. I've had to make payroll. I've had to make personnel decisions, and continue to do so in today's world. But back to your comment about running the county as a business, in anything that you do, you cannot spend more than you've got coming in, whether that's your personal household or in your business. That's something I was taught very young, growing up. You got to have more coming in than going out, and you've got to save money for a rainy day. And I think I've been able to use those principles throughout my life, and it has guided me well.
All right. Thank you. All right. Chris, you want to answer that? You need to repeat? Okay.
It's been said that county government should be operated as a business. Have you ever owned or operated a business yourself? Please explain.
Yeah, so I've operated large industry poultry operations. Last one I took over was a $51 million a year business. We straightened out a few things, nothing major, mainly communication issues. Just streamlined some processes and built that communication up. And in a year's time, we went to a $96 million a year business with those simple changes. As far as running a county as a business, on the accounting side, absolutely. But you can't run it as a business because the heartbeat of the county is the citizens. You have to take into account what they say, their needs, their health, their morals, their welfare, their general well-being. So there's some aspects of the county you can absolutely run as a business. Like I said, accounting, money management, things like that. But you can't run the county as a whole as a business. Then your citizens start losing their rights.
All right. Thank you. Next question. We try to move along quickly here. If new funds were available to the county, what one area of the county services would you feel that most needs some additional resources? Yeah, Chris, you.
I'd say first off, the sheriff's department. With all this tourism, with all these things that we're bringing into the county, we also bring more crime. And, I've been up there at the meetings, 95% of the meetings for the past 3 years. And I think the sheriff could use a little more support. Our deputies are leaving the county because Hall County pays $11 an hour more. So that's quite substantial. And, I was at a meeting the other night where the sheriff told us that he had hired a young man that was working at Dairy Queen. And he was making $17.50 something there at Dairy Queen, and he comes to the sheriff's office making $19.50 an hour. I know from I've put my life on the line for this country. So to go out and put your life on the line for the community, I might go work at Dairy Queen. Especially with the things that we're bringing into the county right now. The crime rate's going up. Sheriff needs our support. And that goes right along with our other public services. Travis has done an amazing job building our fire stations. I'll commend him for that. We need to look at how we keep those fire stations staffed and look at that budget into the future. What can we offer our people to take care of us? If we don't take care of them, how can we expect them to take care of us? But that goes right downhill to, our public works guys. It all goes down. Good leaders make sure that all their employees are getting taken care of for themselves. I have a problem with our leaders giving themselves raises before they give everybody else a raise.
All right. Thank you. Travis, need that answer a question? If new funds were available to the county, what one area of the county services would you feel most needs additional resources?
Well, first, I'm very pleased to state, and if you look at our track record over the last 5 to 6 years, we have given pay raises to our employees, especially those who are putting their lives on the line. Unfortunately, as you go further south into the Hall counties and Forsyth counties, for example, they have a much larger revenue stream than what we have here. So to that point, I do agree our emergency services need to continue to have a focus on that. We have, I feel like, done a very good job of supporting our sheriff's department over the last handful of years. A lot of folks forget that coming out of the recession, it was a challenging time in the county, and we had to make hard decisions at that time to keep White County financially in a positive light, and it's that experience that we use to move forward. Our emergency services are phenomenal in White County, from the sheriff's department to the fire department, our EMA department. I'm proud to say that I would spend additional funds in those areas, and I appreciate my opponent's comments. When I first took office, we only had, I believe it was 4 to 5 full-time firefighter positions in White County. And I'm pleased to say, as of today, I believe we have 25 full-time firefighters. So we're able to operate 3 fire stations, 24 hours, 7 days a week. So when you call 911, not only are you going to get somebody on the telephone, but also you're going to have someone, if the ambulance can't get there, we'll have a first responder who's on call, who's there in the fire station 24/7 to respond to your need. And so emergency services is an area, as well as our road department. These are unsung heroes in the road department. When it's raining, snowing, sleeting, these ladies and gentlemen are out at 3 a.m. Busting their rear ends to make sure we have roads passable. And I got to give a shout out to them. If I didn't, I'd be remiss if I didn't.
Great, thank you. All right, so Samantha has the next question. Travis, we'll start off with you.
Travis, housing authority affordability is a growing concern in our county. What strategies do you propose that can be accomplished by the county commission to increase the availability of affordable housing options, such as tiny homes or smaller lot size, while also preserving neighborhood character and quality of life?
Well, let's be realistic. With today's crazy inflation, there are not many newlyweds that can afford a starter home at $300,000, they don't qualify with the banks, especially. And I don't mean to be negative. I'm just stating a fact. That's a challenge we're all seeing, and we're seeing our young adults having a challenge in this area. We also saw a tidal wave of homes that used to be long-term rentals converted to short-term rentals during the pandemic. People saw the almighty dollar, and I understand that. However, it took a lot of our long-term rentals off the market and converted those to short-term. Now, if you believe in capitalism and demand-supply curve, that market has become somewhat saturated. We're actually seeing a flat line on the number of host licenses on short-term rentals currently, and I've heard stories of people converting their short-term rentals back to long-term rentals. But I go back to Samantha, something I said a little while ago is the sewer. In White County, with our terrain, our mountains, etc., for just discussion, you have to have 1 acre of land to have a septic tank on. Reasonably. You might go a hair less, but reasonably. And I go back to the expansion of sewer and partnering with the city of Cleveland or city of Helen to kind of narrow in on the more dense housing. The county, we have an option, planned unit development, or a PUD, that might, if it's designed in the right way, that wouldn't affect other I'm going to say normal size houses, whatever you want to use that definition as. We have that option within our plan, our land use plan, currently. But as of right now, we haven't had anybody approach us that I'm aware of interested in the tiny homes, a tiny home development in a PUD situation. I'd like to see us work with the cities on more dense housing. I think there's an opportunity there. And I just think it's right in front of us. And we are having communications, I have, with city leaders about future opportunities. And hopefully, if I'm able to serve, we'll have that opportunity to share that.
All right. Thank you, Travis. All right. We need to kind of wrap up here and get ready for closing comments, and have basically have 3 more questions on our sheet. So, Samantha, if you want to, I'll let you pick out one of the final 3. Oh, I'm sorry. He did not. I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Keeping me on staff, keeping on stay here. All right. Chris, go ahead. You want to hear? Okay.
Housing affordability is a growing concern in our county. What strategies do you propose that can be accomplished by the County Commission to increase the availability of affordable housing options, such as tiny homes or smaller lot size, while also preserving neighborhood character and quality of life?
So as I said before, affordable housing is not home ownership, especially not in today's time. There's several things we can do. Sewage. If we partner with the city, that's only going to get us so much. So we really have to start looking towards the future. We can't just put a Band-Aid on this problem, and we can't say we didn't see it coming. Everybody to our south, this has happened. So we've had the blueprint laid out for us. We just didn't read it in time. So now we're playing catch up, and it's really hurting us. So we really need to, look at innovative ways, if that's setting up some, like I said, apartments or something like that, putting a package plan in. Usually how it works, my late father, his company built and designed wastewater treatment plants. So I worked with him all through high school, read blueprints. He taught me a lot on that industry. And, we can put these package plants in, and it'd be a easy transition. How it usually goes, a year, they run that plant, get all the kinks out of it, and then they hand it over to the county. So there's some simple solutions. We have to look at the future. Do we want our kids to be able to afford to live here and enjoy growing up here in our community like we did? Or are we going to push them down to Gwinnett, because that's where the housing is? We have to, come together and, have town hall meetings on this. We need to bring the community in, all the different factions of our community, because we're so diverse in White County, and we don't take advantage of that. Diversity builds growth, both economic diversity and cultural diversity. We need to look at our boards. A lot of our boards need more representation from different members of the community. So that's all I have to say on that.
Okay. Thank you. All right. I tell you what, we'll go ahead and wrap up with the question and answer session time here and get to your closing comments. Once again, you got 2 minutes to do a closing comment, wrap up, and any final thoughts that you have. Chris, we start with you.
I also want to thank everybody again for this opportunity to get my voice out there. I've kind of been on the back burner, just kind of waiting on this week. So I appreciate everybody. I look forward to meeting more people out there in the community. I'll be out pretty heavy this last month before the election. I really want to empower the community. I think that our government's gotten too big and too confusing for the average citizens to know our rights. Something I want to propose is a Citizen Civics Academy. The sheriff has his academy, and he enlightens people about what law enforcement does. We need to do the same thing. My goal would be when I get the commissioner chair, I want to train somebody that wants to take my job from me. That's what good leaders do, is they train for somebody to take their job. And if they're not doing that, they're not a good leader. So I want to empower this community. Give all these rights back, understand these confusing laws, and put the power back in your hands. So come out in May and express your rights.
Okay, thank you. All right, Travis, your closing comments.
Well, as I stated before, thank you all for the opportunity to be here, to speak, to get the word out, because an educated voter is one who can make the most prayerful and educated decision on who they feel like will be the best to lead our county over the next term. I'm proud of the track record that I have as serving as chairman. I'm very involved in our White County community, which makes me extremely available to speak and meet with citizens. If you have not had an opportunity to attend our meetings over the years of my service, I can say that we as a board do not always agree on matters, but as a chairman, I've been able to move us forward, get to a vote, and continue handling the people's business that we've been charged to do. I would sincerely appreciate your vote in the May 21st election, and I would like to encourage you to exercise your right to vote that has been handed down through generations by men and women who have given their time and even their lives, so please do not take it for granted. We have been blessed to live in White County, and whether you're like me and are a native for generations or moved to White County just in the last few years, we have something in common. We have all chosen to live here in this wonderful county and call our home and to raise our families. And to everyone, God bless, and I hope you all have a wonderful week.
Okay. Thank you, Travis and Chris, both. Appreciate both of y'all being here and sharing your views and such with the people listening, and on behalf of the Chamber and White County News and the radio station as well. But our candidates for Chairman of White County Commission, Travis Turner, incumbent, and Chris Dorsey, thank you again. We're going to take a 1-minute break here so we can switch out and get the candidates for White County Sheriff in here, and we'll do that particular forum in 1 minute.